What's up, everyone? This is Iridin again. So, this last episode, we went and we started talking more about, or we got into the details of just how, first of all, how to log in, how to find the right log, how to make sure you're on the right boss, the right pull. Something I don't think I mentioned in the last episode. So, something to keep in mind. While these do get updated more or less instantly, you have to wait for the say if it's a wipe, everyone has to be dead, and then it'll show up. It has to be done for it to actually show up here on the Warcraft logs. Just wanting to make sure everyone gets that idea. So if you die, don't automatically come up here and try to find the information. It may not be the right stuff. So then you get mad at the wrong person for the wrong reason. So let's go into this next episode. What I want to do is go a little more in detail into this whole everything here. So let's start with possibly the most important. We will go with damage taken. Now, something to keep in mind. Very important to keep in mind. A lot of Gorefiend is what we call RNG, random number generator, or RNGesus, you'll also hear it. Just because there's a lot of damage done that people cannot avoid. Random people get pulled upstairs. Random people get hit with, let's see, for instance, with Kindle. If you just mouse over, Hunger for Life, random. Surging Shadows is more or less random. So a lot of this is basically stuff that was unavoidable. And you can also see the source. There's a construct. So, surprise. If you go down Feast of Souls and Stable Soul, there's just a lot of this damage here, especially Gorefiend, was unavoidable. So what I'm going to do is actually go to one that's a little bit better. I would show you Iron. Heck with it. Let's go Iron Reaver. No, because I know Iron Reaver. We had the kill on Iron Reaver, but this night we had a bunch of people die because Iron Reaver suddenly turned sideways and came through the raid when people thought they were safe. I distinctly remember that. So let's actually do Kilrock. Kilrock has a little bit of random damage. He's going to have the Heartseeker. So I guess Berserker may have gotten hit with 2 cases of this instead of just a random 1. But you can see that so Tracy got hit. Sunika got hit. Zizifa got hit. So after that, it's the blood. So the blood splatter is once you kill the blood globule, it leaves the red spot on the ground. That's what that is. So a lot of my personal damage was death throws. I need to get out of it. The end. But the other thing to kind of keep in mind, death throws is kind of unavoidable to some extent. The other thing that I don't think I mentioned is here on the left, you can see, for example, Dreadsword was Prot. These were his talents. Berserker, Zen was Prot, Fire, Red. I was actually Survival. Those were my talents. So, anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So this is the damage taken. This is where you can see what damage you took. So this is, if you notice, there's 2 shades. So the darker gray here, or sorry, the darker brown, is absorbed damage. That's stuff that was, I guess you could say, mitigated Uh, by mitigated, I mean if he was. I know Dreadsword's been using Endure Pain. That I believe counts as an absorb. So that's absorb. So what he also took though was the other part, the 1.39 million damage. Beefzerker not using Endure Pain, not at all. So his absorb was a little bit less. The odds are the 62k that he absorbed was actually a shield from Baratar or Benedictus. So that's all of that. Basically, the lower on the scale you are for this, the better off you are. Um, that's the kind of the short version of that part. So if you're way down here, now something else to keep an eye on. That's something we'll get looking at this a little bit later, actually, before I start getting worried about it getting distracted. There is an activity or an active percentage over here, and we got some 7% and 11%. So we got to take we'll take a closer look at that here in a little bit. But for now, damage taken. So we can see now what we'll do is we'll take a look at the healing. So for Kilrog, top heal was Banana Feeler. Don't worry so much about this right now. All right, I'll touch on this actually in a little bit. I want to get through everything else before I start talking about this percentage and that kind of thing. So this is their raw output, and this was their overheal percentage. So what you have here on the far side was their heals per second. Banana Feeler was doing roughly 43,000 heals per second. 40k, 31. The other thing you can do is you can see who was their main target. So Banana, he mostly hit a huge portion of his healing was rejuvenation. Looks like Beefzerker ate almost as much as Dreadsword. But then again, you go back to that damage taken, you can understand why. Benedictus, Atonement. And a lot of that went to Dreadsword. So, I mean, and that makes perfect sense because Dreadsword's at that for tonight or for that night was the main tank. So it just makes sense. Here you have Sanctitas. So Flash of Light was his main, and it looks like Beef ate a lot of the healing for that one. So you actually see Zen down at 4th, and he was most likely the trying to figure this one out. He was most likely, I don't know, it's not showing the what am I thinking of? Anyway, I'm getting distracted. So Dreadsword's actually 4th healing, and that's because of Ignore Pain. This other heal is Inspiring Presence. What that does is that's actually what causes leech. It's a 3% leech across the raid, which is why everyone else, actually a good portion of everyone else is healing down here. I did not expect it to be survivalist, but you have, for example, Ziziva has leech probably from maybe a trinket, a piece of gear. Let's see. But yeah, Dreadsword, Ignore Pain, the Inspiring Presence as well. Obviously, he's going to be the #1 recipient of it. So, that's the healing. Now, what I also want to take a look at is deaths. I mean, we can look at buffs and that I'm gonna save the buffs and probably debuffs for the next episode, just so that we're able to talk again much more in depth about it. So let's take a look at deaths. So we had Beef Zerker actually died across 76 seconds. That's that's a very long, very slow death. I don't know how that happened. But what you can do is, we also had Zaz die during death throws. It looks like he just got wrecked by him. He ate 3 of them, and I think he disconnected. So that may not be, that's not, maybe not so much his fault. But what you can do is you can just click on it and see kind of how he ended up dying. So he died from fell rupture. So when the hulking terror dies, he explodes. He deals roughly 150,000 damage, and yeah, that's quite probably what killed. Well, actually, yeah, there you go. He ate. He was down to 39,000 health, but he got killed basically. When the fell rupture exploded, it hit him for right around 80,000. You only need about half of that. But you can see he was getting heals, some heals. It just wasn't quite enough. This time on here is the very, very, very end. It'll say like 0 is kind of, well, 0 hour. This is when they died. So, a quarter second before he died, there was a rejuvenation tick. 2/3 of a second, there was a regrowth tick. So there's healing going off. It's just, I guess it wasn't enough to get him above and high enough to eat the fell rupture. So when you start looking this far back, you also have to kind of take a look at where is he taking damage from. So he's eating a lot of fell corruption here. You see, he's over here just like, I mean, his health's okay. If you wonder what these stars mean, if memory serves correctly, those are crits. So those were critical heals. Yeah, you can go back and, I mean, see all the way back. So he was eating fell corruption for at roughly 30 seconds, which is bad, by the way. So I mean, 3,500 damage until canceled. Canceled means get out of the fire. And if you're not sure what something is, you can actually click on that, and it will show you. Maybe it should show you how much damage was taken by fell corruption. But you can go all the way back and just see that's a lot of atonement. But atonement's also small heals. You can kind of also see a health bar of what happened. So he ate a blood surge, a fell blood surge. That's what happened. Anyway, so you can also see interrupts. There shouldn't be. You can see what was interrupted. This would have been the shout, I believe. It doesn't say what was. I don't think it's. Yeah, it doesn't show what was interrupted. Oh wait, maybe it does. So that was the rending howl. So I got one, and Zilthi got one at the start. There you go. Dispels should be kind of obvious. We'll go into cast as well, but I'm actually going to save that for the next episode. I wanted to mostly be. I wanted to go over damage taken. I wanted to go over the how to tell like your deaths and stuff, how to be able to tell. So after a raid, you can figure out exactly what did I do and kind of what went wrong, what went right. So we've handled the what went wrong. Next episode is what went right. So for now, this is Iridin, again, House of Zug, on Silver Moon, houseofzug.com. See you next time.